House Bill 2190, amending Title 15, Chapter 7, Article 1, Arizona Revised Statutes by adding sections 15-70102, 15-70103, 15-70104, 15-70105, 15-70106, and 15-70107 relating to school curricula. Mr. President, your Committee on Education, having had under consideration House Bill 2190 relating to Common Core replacement, recommends that the bill be amended as follows. And as so amended, your committee recommends that the bill do pass. Kelly Ward, Chairman.
Senator Ward.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that House Bill 2190 receive a due pass recommendation.
Thank you. And there's an Education Committee amendment.
Mr. President, your Committee on Education, having had under consideration House Bill 2190 relating to Common Core replacement, recommends that the bill be amended as follows. And as so amended, your committee recommends that the bill do pass. Kelly Ward, Chairman.
Thank you. Senator Ward.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that the Education Amendment to House Bill 2190 be adopted.
Thank you. And there's a Rules Amendment to the Education Committee amendment.
Mr. President, your Committee on Rules, having had under consideration House Bill 2190 relating to Common Core replacement, recommends that the bill be amended as follows. And as so amended, your committee recommends that the bill is proper for consideration. Andy Biggs, Chairman.
Senator Biggs.
Madam Chairman, I move that the Rules Committee amendment to the Education Committee amendment be adopted.
Thank you. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed say nay. The ayes appear to have it, do have it, so ordered. Senator Ward, your Education Committee amendment as amended.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that the Education Committee amendment as amended be adopted.
Thank you. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed say nay. The ayes appear to have it. Did somebody call division? No? The ayes appear to have it, do have it, so ordered. There's a Yee floor amendment.
Yee floor amendment, House Bill 2190, Senator Yee.
Senator Yee.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I move the Yee floor amendment to House Bill 2190 be adopted.
Explanation.
Thank you, Madam Chairman, members. The amendment stipulates that the State Board of Education may utilize resources and materials or portions of standards from other states in the process of adopting or revising academic content standards and corresponding assessments. It additionally clarifies that the provision that ensures that parents as well as teachers be notified when either a teacher or student's personal information is required to be sent to the United States Department of Education for a federal grant. Lastly, the amendment removes the requirement that academic standards submitted to the legislature are deemed approved if the legislature fails to act within 30 days. I have checked with the sponsor of this bill, and he is in favor of this amendment.
Thank you. All those in favor of the Yee floor amendment signify by saying aye. All those opposed say nay. The ayes appear to have it, do have it, so ordered. Senator Ward, your bill is amended.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that that House Bill 2190 as amended receive a due pass recommendation.
Thank you. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed say nay. The ayes appear to have it. Division has been called. All those in favor of House Bill 2190 as amended, please rise. You may be seated. All those opposed to House Bill 2190 as amended, please rise. By your vote of 13 ayes with the chair voting aye, 16 nays, you have failed to pass 2190. It's required. You have failed House Bill 2190 as amended. The system is now open. All those in favor of House Bill 2190 as amended. Senator Smith.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I rise to explain my vote
Proceed.
and to drop my papers. I'm sorry. Madam Chairman, members, I think we had 4.5, 5-hour discussion about this bill in committee. But the state as a whole, Madam Chair, I would surmise, have had about a year-long discussion minimum of this bill and this topic as a whole. And I think the state is pretty clear in what they feel about this thing called Common Core, whatever name and warm and fuzzy name you want to slap on top of it now. The people of this state do not like Common Core, or whatever name you want to insert. How do I know that? Well, I think simply looking at our superintendent race alone was a pretty good indication. I think looking at national trends is also a pretty good indication. And I think when you look at party lines, you've had teachers, the people that we charge to actually implement this ridiculous thing, stand up at their board meetings and say how poor it is. You know, it kind of boggles my mind that after all of that, we're going to come back here and not give the people what they want. You might hear that other states have tried this and they're going to be maybe punished somehow, some way. Well, that's not true. Oklahoma just did this, and they weren't punished with withholding of federal dollars. Matter of fact, Bobby Jindal, I mentioned this in committee, Louisiana governor, the day of our committee discussion about this, says he's now once again suing over Common Core, and his quote was, "We will not accept this one-size-fits-all approach to our children's education." I just don't understand what else we need out there to help our children learn the right way. We invested all of this money in this wonderful park system that we flushed down the toilet and wasted that money with. But now we're going to try another system because that one's going to be better. We can trust that one. No, I don't think we can. And for my Republican colleagues, I'll just remind them that the National Republican Committee wrote a resolution decrying Common Core, saying that it's an inappropriate overreach to standardize and control the education of our children so they will conform to a perceived normal behavior. And I'm going to leave this example, as I've mentioned many times. I always kind of throw this little caveat out there because my wife is a teacher, my brother's a teacher, my sister's a teacher, and there's a lot of teachers in my family. Now, my brother, who's in this state, who's a teacher, teaches the grade level for Common Core, will be the first to say as a math teacher, I can get our children to get the right answer quicker than what these standards do. I've got to slow down my entire methodology of teaching so they can answer it in the right way. It doesn't matter that it's right anymore. I thought that was what we wanted. Outcomes, outputs, not inputs in our education system. But unfortunately, we are not receiving that. And Madam Chair, I will end on this. The name in of itself is its own indictment on this thing. Common Core. We've all heard this before, but it's so true. There is nothing common about the way our children are, about the way that they learn, or about the environment that they grow up in. And I think if we truly care about school choice, we need to repeal this abomination of a program and actually let school choice reign. And actually let the states do a funny thing like, I don't know, create their own policy as was decreed by the federal government in 1965. With that, I vote yes.
Thank you. President Biggs.
Madam Chair, I rise to explain my vote.
Proceed.
One thing that I find interesting about the particular set of standards which are Common Core, interrelated curriculum as well as related assessments, is it seems to me that it prompts regression to the mean. And I don't think that's the appropriate thing that any of us would say that we really want for our children, is a regression to the mean. We want to see children excel and go forward. I received an interesting email this morning from a math teacher out of a high school in Tucson who was explaining that he supported HB2190 because he felt that the standards in Common Core were deleterious to the teaching of math in Arizona. He is a 20-year teacher. And I've gone to seminars put on by national experts who support Common Core and those who oppose Common Core. I'm convinced that we can do better. And I believe that we need to replace Common Core. I think we need to replace them with Arizona standards. Standards devised here to inspire our children and our teachers to be the very best they can be. There's a reason that this is called Common Core, because it promotes regression to the mean. And that, for me, is an unfortunate movement in education. So with that, I vote yes.
Thank you. President Biggs votes yes. Senator Kavanaugh.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move in support of House Bill 2190.
Explain your vote.
May I explain my vote?
Yes.
A house is only as strong as its foundation, and curriculum is the foundation of our K-12 educational system. And the curriculum under Common Core is shaky. The foundation is shaky, and you just can't move forward with a shaky foundation. Parents are divided on Common Core. The public is divided on Common Core. This legislature is divided on Common Core. And there's no need to proceed forward with this type of a divisive curriculum. It hurts the children, it hurts the system. We already have a system called AIMS that we've been using for many years. Teachers know how to use it, and we have tests that we can give students so we can still gauge their progress and compare one school to the other, which are important parts of the educational assessment process. All this bill does is say, let's go back to the AIMS system, which we know about, which we can use for a couple of years until we can get all the parties together, get rid of the controversy, and adopt Arizona's own system, which may very well have some parts of Common Core, some parts of other states, some things that we put in it new. But a house is only as strong as its foundation, and Common Core is a shaky foundation for our house. And we're not going to be able to proceed forward optimally helping our students with this shaky foundation. This bill gives us a chance to reset and repair. And with that, I vote yes.
Senator Kavanaugh votes yes. Senator Ward,
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to explain my vote.
proceed.
Thank you. Well, I rise in support, strong support of 2190, strong support of getting rid of the Common Core standards, strong support of getting rid of the Arizona College and Career Ready standards, or whatever it is that we've tried to mislead the public into thinking that we are not federalizing and our education system. There were only two content experts that were on the Common Core Creation Committee. Dr. Sandra Stotsky, she was the English language expert. And she basically stated that Common Core's college readiness standards for English language arts and reading do not aim for a level of achievement that signifies readiness for authentic college-level work. They point to no more than readiness for a high school diploma. On the math side, we had Dr. James Milgram. He was on the Common Core Math Standards Validation Board, and he refused to sign off. He said that the Common Core standards claim to be benchmarked against international standards actually, let me say that again. Benchmarked against 2 international standards, which does not make sense. It's a nonsensical statement. It is meaningless. The Common Core standards are actually 2 or more years behind international expectations by the 8th grade and only fall further behind as they talk about grades 8 through 12. Indeed, they don't even fully cover the material in a solid geometry class or a second year of algebra. So we've got content and experts out there who were part of this process who refused to sign off. We've got people in our states. We've got great parents. We've got engaged community members. We have students. We have teachers. We have administrators who are crying out for freedom from the oppression of the federal government. This is our chance to send a message to our state that we want excellence in education, that we want student success, that we are striving for student achievement. I urge you to vote yes on 2190 so that we can move forward into a new age of education in Arizona. With that, I vote aye.
Senator Ward votes aye. Senator Allen.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I'd like to explain my vote.
Proceed.
Please bear with me as I read this off of my computer. My friend, Dr. Kathleen Danielson, she has her PhD and 3 masters, and part of her field is child development and counseling. And she is a principal of a small school. She sent me a letter talking about the development of children and how they develop. And I can't, of course, read all of that to you, but she says it is important to make sure that when what we expect of children is not beyond their physical and psychological abilities. I believe that Common Core standards of expectation, curriculum, and evaluation does require children to perform mental tasks such as critical thinking long before they are developmentally ready to do so. She goes on and says that we think if we can force some of this thinking upon them, it's like pulling your 2-year-old baby teeth all out because you think their permanent teeth are going to come in quicker. They're not going to come in quicker. They're just going to come in when it's time to come in. The same with the way a child's development in their thinking. And I think this relates to why you have so many frustrated children that have been very frustrated as they've been trying to force to think and work in a way that maybe some of them aren't ready and some of them might be ready, and why some parents have been so frustrated themselves. I think that I haven't seen an issue in a really long time that has riled parents as this issue has, and also quietly teachers talking to me because a lot of them are afraid to speak out too much because of their jobs. But this has made parents extremely concerned, is an issue that drove the last election, and I think you're going to find that there are going to be many, many parents disappointed as they find out today that Arizona will not be replacing the Common Core as they had so hoped that we would, and I vote aye. Thank you.
Senator Allen votes aye. Have you all voted? The system is now closed by your vote of 13 ayes, 16 nays, House 1 not voting. House Bill 2190 has failed.